Hey everybody, this is my new 20-gallon soon-to-be red-clawed crab tank. I've done a little bit more work on it and we're going to get to that in a moment, but I've been waiting to get something in the mail today and I finally got it. We're going to put a new filter on this tank. What we've got here is the Tetra Whisper 40. So I always like to go with a double size filtration whenever I'm looking at a tank. This is a 20-gallon tank, so we've got the 40-gallon sized filter. When you get into larger tanks or you've got more sensitive fish, you might want to get into how many actual gallons you're moving per hour and all that sort of thing. But these smaller tanks, you can just get these filters that just sort of say that they're for a 30-gallon tank or 40-gallon tank or whatever, and can kind of go by that. And what I do is I double the size of the tank. So we got a 20-gallon tank here, and as I said, we're going to go with this Whisper 40. Now, the reason we're going with this Whisper 40 is the current Whisper 20 I've got on here is making all kinds of noise. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera, but in addition to the noise you can hear from the splashing, you can hear some noise rattling from the impeller in there. And these Whisper filters are really quiet when they're new. They're very aptly named Whisper. They don't last forever though. They will eventually start rattling and making some noise, and I usually get between 2 and 2.5 years before I start to have an issue with them. They're so inexpensive that to me it's just totally worth it. I think this 40 was $17 or $18 after tax. Got it on Amazon, got here in a couple of days. Well, with the holidays it got here in about 4 days, but it was about $18, and if I get 3 years use out of that, I'm totally okay with that. That's fine. That's a really good deal as far as I'm concerned. And in some cases, if we come over here, we can see my 29 miscellaneous tank. This has a Whisper 60 on it. So I've got roughly what I assumed, 30-gallon tank. It's 29. So we got the double size filter and we went with the 60. And this filter has been running on this tank without issue for probably about 5 years now, and it's still just as quiet as can be. I've never had any problems with it. So sometimes you get lucky and you get years and years and years out of them. If you're going to have what I would think of as a worst case scenario, you can figure on maybe at least 2. I have had them go bad, reasonably early after a couple of years, but they generally last 2 or 3 years before they start getting a little noisy and rattly, and then I just go ahead and replace them. It's totally worth it to me. So here's a listen to the old one, and then we'll go ahead and get a listen to the new one in just a second. And there's your new one. So we've got twice as much filtration going on, twice as much water moving, approximately twice as much water moving through there, and it is now much quieter. That rattle was so noisy. Again, I'm not sure how that was coming out on camera, but that rattle was so noisy I could hear it in the other room, and it was just driving me nuts. I couldn't be anywhere down the basement or even up in the kitchen without hearing that rattle. The waterfall effect does get on my nerves to some degree, but there's not much I can do about that. I've got to have some land available in this tank. Let me try to reposition this camera here. I really hate using this camera. Unfortunately, if I want to do a multi-sequenced or a multi-scened video, I've got to use this camera instead of my camera that I prefer now. At any rate, gotta have land for the crabs, so right now we're going with the wood. The crabs will be able to do something with that. I have taken some Anubias rhizomes and tied them to the wood. I'm hoping I'll get some new growth generating, and we'll see what goes on from there. I'm probably going to pull some Java fern out of one of my tanks. I'm going to be working on my gourami tank here really soon, so I'll probably pull some Java out of there. I know, surprise, surprise, I'm putting Java fern in another one of my tanks. In this case, I'm doing it because partially I just like it. It's easy. It's convenient for me. I don't have to buy it. I've just got it in other tanks. It's simple to grow. I don't have to mess with it. I just stick it in tanks and forget about it. So it's right up my alley with as far as my style of fish keeping. You know, put it in a tank and kind of forget about it for the most part. But it's also got to survive brackish water. So that really limits me. And it's going to be in a tank with crabs that will voraciously just chow down on any kind of vegetation that's going on in the tank. So I want the toughest, you know, nastiest stuff in there. So the Anubias and the Java go right hand in hand with what I want in this tank anyway. So hopefully once I get this tank pulled together a little more, I'm going to get that blue backing back on there so you just don't see the woodwork in the background. Again, these rocks down on the bottom are just there. I have no idea what the bottom is going to actually look like. I've been waiting to get this filter. Now that I've got it, I can actually start moving forward with this tank again. So that's about all we're going to see with this video. I just wanted to give you a look at that filter more than anything. And if you're interested in that filter, go look below. There will be a link. You can go check it out. Again, it's about 18 bucks. It's a great filter for the price. All of those little Whisper filters, all the way up to the 60 gallon size, are great hang on the back filters for the price you get them for. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget, this one is going to be my red clawed crab tank. And I'll see you real soon in the next one.